Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Emily the Mystic, and I am so glad you're here, as always, for another Cosmic Connections video. Excited to dive in with all of you and share with you some information about a galactic group that we have not covered yet in this series. If you are brand new here and this is the first video that has brought you to my page, welcome. I am an Akashic Records reader and channeler, and I love focusing my energy on the galactic realms. And so I've been doing this series to share with you information about these different cosmic and galactic beings so that you can get to know them better and whether or not you may be a starseed from one of these groups. So definitely feel into whether or not you resonate with some of the information in this video within your own life. And also thank you for your grace last week. If you saw my video about the Mission Realmers and angelic souls, I was not well when I filmed that video. I was not feeling well. I actually ended up taking off a few days after filming that video to recover from being sick. So hopefully my voice is a little bit better for this video. I'm definitely feeling better, and I am excited to pick right back up where we left off and talk about the Avian starseeds today and the Avian beings. So let's dive right on in. As always with channeled information, take what resonates with you and leave the rest. This is information that's been channeled through the Akashic Records by connecting with these specific beings, as well as information from my own research and just what I have come to learn from all of the different things that I have explored and experience that I have working in the spiritual space. So the Avian starseeds, let's talk a little bit about their history and also their appearance and information about their energy frequency. So when the Avian starseeds come through to me, they look very bird-like. They have very bird-like features. Of course, that's where the word avian comes from, meaning types of birds here on planet Earth. It is originally from these incredible high vibrational beings that are from elsewhere in our universe. So they come through very bird-like with a lot of feathers, a lot of feathery energy in their aura. They have a beak. They have kind of slanted, pointed eyes. They have a little bit of what's tuft on the top of the head. They have, how else can I describe them? They have wing-like features, but they are also standing on 2 feet, so they kind of look like a mixture of birds and humans, which is very interesting. However, more bird-like and more galactic than human, of course. And I think they're also coming through in a way that will make it easier for me to describe them to you guys and easier for me to understand who they are as well. Specifically, the being that came through to me today is blue, and I know that we talk about the blue avian starseeds a lot, and this being is sharing with me that the blue avians are a more evolved form of the avian starseeds, more evolved form of the avian galactic group in general, and we'll talk a little bit more about that when we dive into history. And specifically, I've been giving a zodiac sign for most of these galactic groups so that you can, again, get to know their energy frequency a bit better. And the one that's coming through pretty strongly is Gemini, also because it's an air sign and the avian beings are bird-like beings. So that would really, really make sense. And also this group of beings really values higher intelligence and intellectual capabilities as well. And Gemini is all about curiosity, lifelong learning, and exploring new things. So I feel like for them, it really, really makes sense. So let's talk a little bit about their history and how these beings came to be. So the avian beings are actually from the Lyran star system. However, once upon a time, before they came to Lyra, they came from a different universe entirely. I'm not getting a ton of information about that and where they are from originally, but what's most important is that they chose to come to Lyra in order to expand their own evolution as a species. The beings that founded Lyra, which if you don't remember about that, definitely check out my video on Lyra. There's a lot of information there about Lyran history that will help make this make more sense. So the avian beings were chosen and selected by the founders of Lyra, those higher vibrational, we can call them spirit guides or ascended masters, who at the time founded the Lyra star system, actually were watching the avian beings for a while. They were aware of them multidimensionally. They have sort of channeling capabilities that we can't even begin to understand as humans. So they were aware, the Lyran founders were aware of the avian beings for a while. And so they invited them to come to the Lyra star system in order to help the Lyran beings to grow and shift and evolve. From what I'm able to understand from the avian beings as well, they also needed a fresh start of their own. It seems as if there were two main issues going on. They were having issues evolving themselves physically as a species, as well as environmentally. I get the gist that the place where they were from originally was not as conducive to life as the planet where they eventually sort of transitioned to in order to help the Lyran beings seed and create a new society, basically a new planet. So they began to set up life on the avian planet within the Lyran star system. And so they worked in collaboration with, so they had their own avian societies on the planet Avian. They also worked in collaboration with the feline beings of Lyra in order to continue their evolutionary work, to evolve their own species as well as the Lyran feline species. It is not lost on me today that I just woke up today and chose this leopard print sweatshirt to wear. I don't have a bird-like sweatshirt, although if I had been wearing something with feathers on it, that would be pretty hilarious. But the feline beings from Lyra worked very much in tandem with the avian beings in order to create the Lyran society. That was really the foundation and the beginning of creating, I don't want to say lower dimensional life, but what ended up being the precursor to human life here on planet Earth. So these beings worked very, very closely together. So it is very likely as an avian starseed, if you resonate with this group with some of the information I'm going to be sharing with you later on, that you probably also had Lyran incarnations as well as a feline being, or you may even have memories of feline beings, bird-like beings, all kind of working together and living in tandem together. And these beings are really, really focused on opportunities for growth and expansion and regeneration and transformation of their species as a whole. So they set up, again, colonies within the avian planet, as well as they're saying other planets and stars within the Lyran star system. And they found that resources on this planet were so much more plentiful than where they originally had come from. So it was a really great opportunity for them to have a second chance at really growing and regenerating their own species. And they got along well with the feline beings of Lyra. So they were sharing with me that they created these beautiful cohabitating relationships with the Lyran feline beings, and that the avian beings, which we'll talk about this a little bit more in depth, they're very focused on intellectual capabilities, cerebral thinking, and analytical logic and reasoning, and just also really being able to create new things and being able to have the intellectual capacity for creation and change and research and transitioning their species into something new. Whereas the feline Lyran beings, a lot of them were more focused on the more physical aspects of beginning their society, on more of, they're saying, the Avians had the brains and the Lyran feline beings had the bronze to be able to get this star system off to a really powerful start. They spend a lot of time researching different capabilities and characteristics of the different species and picking the characteristics and traits that could be mixed and changed and, when woven together, would create very evolved, high vibrational, high frequency, highly intelligent, highly creative, highly spiritual beings. And so both of these groups worked in tandem doing genetic research in order to evolve the Lyran star system as a whole. So that is sort of where that piece of history comes in. As we know, we had the Lyran beings and the Vegan beings as well in their own group of stars, their own star system. And so both of these overall groups, again, really seeded and created and started the foundations for what life would eventually look like here on planet Earth. Of course, definitely higher vibrational and higher frequency than the third dimensional existence that we live here on planet Earth. Of course, there's nothing wrong with that. That is just who we are as human beings. We live in the third dimension. But these beings really began that whole process, which I think is very, very cool. So if you resonate with being an avian starseed, you're definitely an old soul. You've definitely spent lifetimes probably in both Lyra and Vega, and you really helped to create some of the beginnings of life within the Milky Way galaxy. So let's talk about some characteristics of the avian starseed. So avians, like I was mentioning earlier, really value intelligence and intellectual capabilities. They are quite bright and they're very cerebral. So an avian starseed, you've probably been known for your brains, your intelligence, your whole life. You probably either worked really hard to get good grades in school, or you were one of those people who was really good at school, at studying, at education, getting good grades on your tests. You may even have been one of those people who didn't have to study a lot or didn't have to focus on your work because it just came easily and naturally to you, and your brain was able to see patterns and able to think your way through the work that you had to do as a kid and in your schooling. So avians very, very much value intelligence. So if you just value that in your own life, if you value having intelligent people around you, intelligent conversations, if you love really long intellectual conversations with your friends, with family members, if you just love, settling in on a Friday night with a cup of tea and a long chat about something with a friend, definitely highly likely that you have avian starseed characteristics. The avian starseeds, also going off of that, they really value truth and honesty. So avian starseeds cut through, and I feel like I've talked about this with other groups too, but the avians in particular, they really cut through dishonesty and a lack of truth with a knife. They are easily able to see what is truth and what is a lie. They can tell when somebody is lying. They just know. They have this innate sense of knowingness. I feel like avian starseeds are very claircognizant in their intuitive abilities, meaning they just know whether something is true or not, or they just know information about somebody, or they just get strong downloads from the universe, pops of ideas and so forth. So they really have that sort of intellectual knowingness within their person, within their self. So they are really good at discernment and really good at being able to judge whether something is true or a lie, and again, to discern whether somebody has their best interests at heart or not, and to be able to make decisions from that. Of course, the avian starseed is also naturally very sweet, very loving, very caring, wanting to help everybody, wanting to make the world a better place. So they may have some people-pleasing tendencies, and they may naturally want to believe that somebody is telling the truth. But for the avian starseed, it's really important for them to lean into their intuition and ask themselves, does this person really have my best interests at heart? Or are they trying to pull the wool over my eyes and my intuition and my gut is telling me that and I don't want to believe it because this almost seems too good to be true, but I want to believe it, right? So that's definitely a lesson for avian starseeds in this lifetime for sure. Avian starseeds also really value freedom, of course, as they are winged beings and have had the experience and the capability to be able to fly everywhere, to be able to bilocate and travel interdimensionally, galactically very easily. The human being, the avian starseed, is going to want to be able to do the same thing. In fact, they may feel very frustrated that they can't change locations or places here on planet Earth as easily as they have had the experience with in other star systems. So the avians really value having freedom and independence to do their own thing, to experiment, to try their own thing they really learn by experimentation, and they learn by doing, and they learn by following their own nose and following their own inner guidance. So avian starseeds are always going to be off doing their own thing. They kind of dance to the beat of their own drum. They may even actually miss and wish that they had physical flying capabilities. So if you've always been one of those people where if you could choose one superpower, it would be to fly and be able to fly up in the sky like a bird, you may be an avian starseed. Or if you love flying in general, perhaps you love traveling, you love being in a plane, maybe you're even a pilot or an aspiring pilot, it's very possible that you are an avian starseed. You really value that freedom, and even you value the physical feeling of being able to fly. So if you've always wanted to try skydiving or cliff jumping or anything that gives you the illusion that you are able to fly, that is going to be a huge indicator that you are an avian starseed. Now, of course, you may have had, if you are afraid of heights, for example, it is totally possible that you may have had physical planet Earth incarnations prior to this one where you've been through some sort of trauma or issue related to heights. Maybe you fell off a cliff, you were pushed off a cliff, or you died in the air, you died in a plane crash or something like that. So you could have trauma that's blocking you from your love of heights. But if there is still a part of you that longs for that ability to fly, if you've always wanted to ride a broomstick or be able to fly on the back of a dragon or something like that, and you've dreamed about that since childhood, even if you have a fear of heights, again, very, very likely that you are an avian starseed. So you really value, again, not just the physical height aspect of being able to fly, but the freedom that gives you and the ability to see things from a higher perspective, because that's the next characteristic of the avian starseed, is that they really see things from a higher perspective. They are able to see an overall conversation, perhaps even see both sides of an argument, and be able to discern and distill down the most important parts of that argument, and to be able to see the overall point from both sides, or what the overall thing is that both parties are arguing about in the first place. They're also able to see the lives of other people from a higher perspective, which makes avian starseeds excellent coaches and mentors and teachers and guides, because they are able to give that higher level guidance and to be able to help others, again, because they see things from that higher way of being, from that higher perspective, which is such a good quality to have. So if you know that you're an avian starseed and you're really good at just seeing the big picture, you're not so good at the little details or at the minutia of your work, but you're great at the overall higher level of information about something you're working on, that's definitely a strength. And you may need to hire people in your life or work in a role that allows you to have people who do take care of the smaller details for you, so that you can take care of the bigger picture stuff. And that's your zone of genius. That's where you enjoy working the most anyway. Okay, what else about avian starseeds? So avian starseeds, your overall mission and goal and purpose on this planet is to envision a higher vision for human beings for this reality, So you're a natural visionary. You see things before other people. You see new ideas, new ways of doing things, new ways of existing that other people have not been able to dream up or see before. So you are naturally gifted and talented at coming up with new ideas. You're a natural entrepreneur. Again, you see things before other people do. You see solutions to problems that other people don't even know exist. So you're a little bit evolutionary and revolutionary in the way that you see the world. And that could make you feel a little bit frustrated that other people don't see things the way that you do, or frustrated that planet Earth is a little bit slower than in your perception it could be. A lot of starseed groups feel that way, by the way, because they have advanced technology, and you have had that experience yourself. So for you, it's going to be really important to trust yourself and to trust your inner vision. If you have a great idea, get it off the ground. You may need to hire people to help make that vision a reality, but you need to trust yourself. Even if that idea doesn't exist yet in the human realm, know that you can bring it to life, and it may be the very thing that you are here to do. You may be here to create a business, an idea, a technology, or something else that nobody else has dreamed up before, and it's because you're meant to do it. So don't stress about it being too hard or challenging or not being in existence yet. The universe, if that's your purpose, is going to give you the right people at the right time, the right opportunities and resources in order to make that dream a reality. So don't stress about it. You will get there. You're so gifted. You're so talented. You just need to trust yourself more and your gifts and talents, because that is exactly who you're here to be and what you're here to do. You're truly here to reinvent the wheel. Some of us are here to continue the work that other people have started, or to see things from a different perspective, but you're here to bring in something new that has not existed here before, or even to bring revolutionary change to something that is no longer working. Again, you see solutions, ideas, and the bridge between the old and the new that other people aren't able to see. And don't get too frustrated when other people aren't on the same wavelength as you, or not able to see the solution that you can see and vision so clearly. You're just going to need to be diligent in your work and really locked in and aligned with your purpose, because having that vision is going to be exactly what you came here to do. So I love that for you. And finally, the other interesting thing about avian starseeds is that you are definitely going to have an affinity towards birds. Whether you are a bird watcher, or you are obsessed with birds, or you love birds, are one of your favorite animal. Even if you love peacocks, or if you love eagles or doves, or whatever your favorite bird is, if you are just like a bird person, a bird lady, a bird man, if that's just your thing, then it's definitely possible that you are an avian starseed and have spent time in that star system. So super interesting, you guys. I love this one. I learned a lot myself. I hope that you found this fun and interesting and helpful for your own journey. Of course, make sure you comment, leave me a comment below with what resonated with you. Like this video and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. I've been interviewing a new starseed group every single week, and there's still more to cover. So we're not done yet. We're still kind of just getting started. So anyway, enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you next week in the next video.